Today I'm going to show you guys 5 handy little tricks that you probably, I'm not going to assume, that you probably didn't know. Let's go. Hey, hope you're doing well. So I'm having a lot of fun with my GT-1000. I actually started out with a GT-1000 core, but I ended up adding 1,000 other pedals to it, which is great because, you know, pedals are great. But I ended up downsizing to the bigger flagship model, which is actually significantly smaller than my other board. Now this hasn't replaced my pedal board, but it does give me another option and something a little bit lighter to travel when I don't feel like taking all those other things. And since getting this, I've found a whole bunch of features which I was unaware of, and I'm going to share some of them with you today. That's the whole point. And of course, if you like what you see here today, make sure you like and subscribe. And while you're down there, make sure you check out all of those links. I've got a Buy Me a Coffee page set up. All of the funds that go into there are going towards the channel to help me bring you guys some better videos. And also, make sure you check out my original music because it's awesome. So first of all, this rig here is called Dirt. It is available in my Gig Ready pack, which is available just here. So that is its default setting right there. Now tip number 1, I've got the board set up in patch mode. So each button is going to take you to a new patch and the control functions do another option. What you can do is you can assign, so this is patch number 3, so you can assign the patch button to another option. Check this out. So what's happening here is I have that button assigned to divider number 1 because I've got 2 different amps loaded up and both of them have been EQ'd independently. Now I think that is absolute genius because you don't have to assign the control buttons to a simple function like dividing that amp channel. It's right there on the same button, doesn't take up room, saves you some space. Easy, easy, easy. How you do that is you just come in to your assign section, you come across to assign and just pick one here. I've got it on the first one. You just select divider number 1 from the category, pick the channel select. You want to have A and B right there, completely just an option. Current number. Set it to toggle and away you go. How good is that? That brings me into tip number 2. So of course you can just use this in patch mode and it's going to change your sound, it's going to change your amps, and you can have it however you want to have it. But what you can also do within each patch is you can have your amp block switch amps. Much like on the Axe FX, but in the one patch, it's got different scenes. Now I thought it would be really slow to load up, but actually it's quite quick. Now let's just jump in and let's set this up. So as you can see here in this rig, I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but let's go down and pick the bottom one, turn it on, change this here. We're going to pick preamp number 1, change the type. Now on the minimum, I've got the X modded, but let's change it completely now to the Recti stack. And we'll assign this to, actually let's just go current number again, toggle, and we'll turn off that first one. So that way now it's not going to do the divider anymore, it's going to change the amp type. Watching this little section right here, change. Now you will notice as well that none of the other parameters here are changing. So while you can save each of your blocks as a stomp box and they will change universally, unfortunately in here there is no option to change the stomp box, but you can get in here and change everything. So once you've set that up, now we've got 16 different assigns per patch, which is a lot, but once you get into it, you do run out pretty quickly. As you can see, I've got 9 in total normally on this patch. Let's go to 15. Now remember we're working with amp number 1 and we're doing current number, toggle. So every time we press it, we want, let's go gain. Let's go from 81 on the minimum. Let's bring it down to 50. Okay, quickly, we'll just do one other parameter. Current number. We're gonna go the middle, because let's go for a real mid scoop. We're gonna bring it down to 30. So now, every time that we press that button, not only is it gonna change the amp type, but it's gonna change the gain, and it's gonna change the middle. There we go, 50 and 30. How does that sound? Let's have a look, eh? It's okay. You probably want to adjust the level on that one as well. Maybe boost the gain switch up on that as well. So like I said, it does take up a few of your assigns, but it's pretty quick. It is actually, I'm going to say, seamless. I can't really hear that. If you can hear it, make a comment, but at the same time, it's bloody quick. How good. Alrighty, tip number 3. Now, I found this one really interesting because this parameter is not available in the GT-1000 core. Even though they're supposed to be exactly the same, turns out doesn't translate across. Anyway, have a look at this. You come in here, and obviously I'm playing with the signs, blah, blah, blah. But, look at this. Effects number 4. 4. But if you have a look, there is no effects 4. So where is it? What you need to do is come across to the master block, effects expansion, and kaboom, there it is, effects number 4. Now I had that loaded up as the mastering effects because I was playing with it. And it's important to note that because we've added this new feature in the patch, unfortunately the core is now in mono. So it's no longer in stereo. There is a way around it, but I'm going to show you first. Now you'll hear that right there, the delay is mono. However, it's a panning delay. So if I come back to the master effects and turn that off, you now have panning stereo delay. Check it again. Mono, bit of a pain in the ass, right? But like I said, we can work around it. What you actually need to do is grab your CAD block and move it so that it is before the delay. So now you've got your reverbs and your delays post cabinet, and the reverbs and delays are now back to stereo. Unfortunately though, everything before the cab block is going to be in mono. So as an example, turn that off again. Listen to this. It's a very nice sounding chorus, but unfortunately it's a mono stereo chorus. Doesn't work, right? Now, whilst that still sounds good, it is back into stereo, it is post-cabinet, and personally, I quite like having those kind of effects pre my cabinet. So for me, it's a great little feature. It's added an extra block to it, and you can add extra effects to them if you need it. However, it does sum everything down to mono. If you're gonna play in mono, it's probably not going to affect you too much, but I have a stereo rig, and that's the way I like to play, so I leave it off. Let's move on. So in this rig, I have the expression pedal set up as both foot volume, and when you press, it turns into wah-wah. Now, I don't really use a volume that often, although I do like to press it and turn it down. But then I do have this set up as a tuner, so maybe I could get rid of it. But for those who like to use a wah, what you can do is set it up so that whether it be at the top or the bottom, let's say from the bottom, it's off, and then as soon as you press it, it turns the wah on. Let's do that. You need to come into your controller sign, expression pedal 1 right here, needs to be pedal effects. Your assigns, let's go this one. Find the pedal effects, click that one. Source is going to be expression pedal 1, on and off. So all the way back is going to be off, and the maximum point is going to be on. Go to page 2, you want to adjust your range. So the low range is off, and let's put it at 2 is good. So you also want to make sure that you set this to momentary, otherwise it will not work. And when we come out, watch the pedal here. As soon as we press it, it goes on, and all the way back down to the bottom is off. And we're off again. Yeehaw! So to expand upon that, as I said, I've got this button here assigned to a boost. Now, every once in a while, you're going to want to do a solo with a wah. Now, if you didn't have this assigned, you would have to press that and then go and press the wah. If you had it just the expression pedal, you would have to press that and then go and still press the wah. So what you can do is you can assign all these things to that one option. In that instance, what I'm doing here, all of these, you're going to want to adjust it to be the same as we just did for the expression pedal on and off. So we'll just go amp 1, source, expression pedal 1, solo switch, change that to moment, again, down to 2. So as soon as that hits number 2, it's gonna boost that solo switch. Fabulous. I wanted to change the reverb as well, expression pedal 1. Well, remember momentary as well, H2, number 2. So we've got a solo boost on the amp, reverb type changed, and I want the master delay to come on and off. So we need to add this one in now. So it is a bit of stuffing around, but it's awesome. And then when we hit the bottom, everything's back to the default. Away you go. Rock on. And last one, tip number 5. As most of you would know, we only get one reverb block in the GT-1000, which kind of sucks. However, just like we have been with the amps, we can adjust our reverbs as well. It's not perfect, but it's still pretty good. So in this example, I've now taken the pedal board across to manual mode. So each of these buttons now does a different function. And this button in particular, what I've done is assigned the reverb to change from the standard spring to a Terra Echo, which is such a good effect. Now going to the Terra Echo effect, as you heard, you didn't really hear it. However, going back from the Terra Echo to the spring reverb doesn't have the spillover effect, even though, as you can see in the master, we have the carryover on. So unfortunately, when it comes to reverbs, when you change the block, same thing, it's not going to spill over the way you want it to. But at the end of the day, there's not going to be many people who are going to notice that stuff. Realistically, it's only going to be you that's going to notice that stuff. This button here, like I said, is a boost. So I've got that set up so that this reverb changes from the plate or from the spring to the plate, but you can also see there that the time is changing and so is the effect level. So just like we did with the amp, you can go into your assigns and you can adjust all of these parameters to change from one to the other. But just to hear that, without the volume boost, I'm gonna turn off the boosts and I'll just unassign the delay for the moment. So now when I press that, it's only gonna be the reverb that's changing there. So it sounds like this. So obviously the guitar keeps playing, but the reverb cut out. So that spillover is not going to be there, but it's pretty quick and you barely notice it. It's pretty good. So there we go. That is 5 tips that you probably didn't already know. If you have any cool tricks that I haven't mentioned, I'd love to hear about them. Make a comment and I can check those things out. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time.